This is your Macro Vibe Check Daily segment, brought to you by Flint West of the Macroeconomic Intelligence Agency. Tracking liquidity, decoding sentiment, exposing the signal. Respect the flows. Macro Vibe Check, Headlines Edition, March 25th, 2025. Curated by the one and only Flint Flow Rider West. A full spectrum scan of today's macro battlefield, where inflation flares, liquidity shifts, and geopolitics plays chess with markets. Stay sharp, stay scarce. 1. UK private sector hits 6-month high. Services sector fuels growth, hinting at post-inflation recovery momentum. Whenever the UK gets a services surge, it usually foreshadows broader EU optimism, but inflation hasn't left the chat. 2. Trump slaps Venezuela with secondary tariffs. Oil markets spike, energy inflation risk rises with geopolitical tension. Energy is the first battlefield when sanctions hit. Oil traders already know the script. 3. China reassures U.S. CEOs amid instability. Beijing shifts to charm offensive, trying to stabilize capital flows. If China's rolling out the red carpet, it's because the house is shaking. Follow the capital, not the press releases. 4. S4 Capital warns of macro-driven ad slowdown. Advertisers pull back, early signal of corporate belt tightening. When ad spend gets slashed, it's usually the canary for corporate sentiment. 5. Oil prices rise on murky supply signals. Volatility returns, demand worries clash with production cuts. Oil doesn't move like this without deeper tremors. Watch for follow-on effects in CPI. 6. Fed holds rates steady. Policy pause persists. Uncertainty remains on timing of first cut. Holding steady doesn't mean comfortable. The Fed's in the waiting room, listening, not acting. 7. Euro dips to 3-week low. Strong dollar regains dominance, signals global capital repositioning. King dollar doesn't rise for nothing. Someone's de-risking globally. Watch for a liquidity pinch. 8. BMW sees $1 billion tariff hit from the U.S. Trade war fallout real. Autos may be first sector-wide victim. When Detroit and Munich both flinch, you know it's not posturing. Tariffs bend supply chains and markets. 9. India shows resilience amid trade shocks. Strong fundamentals keep India on global investor radar. Steady hands win shaky markets. India's playing the long game while others chase headlines. 10. German manufacturing edges up, potential early signal of stabilization in Europe's core economy. Germany's engine sputters back to life, but don't rev too soon. 11. French private sector shrinks again. France lags broader Eurozone recovery. PMIs signal stagnation. One step forward, one step en grève. France keeps dancing with stagnation. 12. Eurozone growth hits 7-month high. Some momentum returns. Green shoots cautiously emerging. Europe's trying to wake up, but half the continent still hasn't had its coffee. 13. Japan inflation below 2% ahead of election. Bojie still missing target. Monetary normalization may stay paused. If Japan can't hit 2% with global inflation roaring, the old playbook's broken. 14. Canada factory sales projected down 0.2%. Subtle slowdown could ripple into Q2 GDP. Manufacturing weakness hits quietly but cuts deep. Watch for revisions. 15. U.S. business activity climbs, sentiment dips, mixed signals, real activity up, future outlook clouded. When the engine's running but the driver's nervous, you don't floor it. Expect chop. 16. BOE holds rates steady. UK central bank joins Fed in pause stance. Rate cuts likely later this year. Central banks playing wait and see, but markets want more clarity than they're giving. 17. US markets edge lower despite strong data. Caution returns. Investors skeptical of soft landing narrative. Good data, bad vibes. That's peak cycle behavior. 18. Global central banks battle inflation's slow growth. The dual mandate dilemma, policy constrained on both ends. This is the monetary equivalent of juggling knives blindfolded. 19. Global debt issuance to hit record $17 trillion in 2025. Sovereigns piling on debt? Watch for yield pressures. Trillions on tap, but someone's got to buy it. Watch the bond vigilantes. They're waking up. 20. Oil climbs on Venezuela sanctions. Energy prices threaten to reignite inflation globally. Sanction the barrel and the market boils. Energy is the fuse to inflation's powder keg. That's your March 25th battlefield. Scanned, decoded, and vibe checked. Flint West out? For now. Macro vibe check, buy Bitcoin.